Hello, 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 hello. Yes, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone, wherever you are. It's nice to see you again, right about 2 minutes past 7 p.m. It's nice to see you all, and we are happy that you have decided to join us this evening. As always, this is Value Thursday, and the purpose of the trade that what why we meet every Thursday is to provide more value. Everything that you see here is free of charge, and usually we encourage anyone that can. You join, it's free of charge. But I'm happy to see the usual suspects. You can just type in the chat box. I see our presenter today is in the house. The featured person, Ronnie, is in the house. Just say hello in the chat box. It's nice to see you all. Okay, today's session, as you very well know, it's going to be the second time we are featuring it, leaders in the making. And the purpose of this session is to highlight and spotlight people who are on the journey of, self-improvement. So the reason why we started this is because we wanted to, bring it to a space where you can hear from someone who is walking the same journey as you, and perhaps you can pick a few things or two from how their experience has been. So today, without wasting any more time, for those who are joining us for the first time, this community, we are BORAWATU Africa. BORAWATU Africa is a community of mentors and mentees that are dedicated to helping bridge the gap for people that are transitioning from school to work. It might even be that you are in a career change where you don't like what you studied or what you're currently doing at the moment, and you want to shift your gears a little bit. So this is definitely one of those spaces that have been engineered to make sure that we bring that to light. And how we are doing that, we are bringing the right information, the right people in the form of mentors, the type of people where you would have to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, or maybe in our case, Ugandans, you would have to pay a lot of money to meet these people. But again, we bring these people to you free of charge at zero cost. Every Thursday, just keep watching out for that. But most importantly, also a community of like-minded people. The reason why you're here today is because there's something about you that you identify with the community that is here today. All of us here are in at different points in our careers, maybe also in our growth journey. There are things that are unique to our experience that we have faced and overcome, and perhaps if we kept on sharing, then we can bridge that gap much better. I often say one of the challenges, the problems that we are facing as a country for those that are currently in Uganda is a lack of curiosity. And that curiosity, of course, goes into all the way into imagination. We don't go into what could be, what are the possibilities of the life that we could have. Look at all the problems that we have around us, and yet we keep walking around them. We don't do anything, and we complain of all the things that are happening around us and all the problems, and yet it is our responsibility to make sure that we participate in that. This community is going to be helping with that, bringing to the attention of everyone that get curious where you are, what is that thing that is lacking. As the saying always goes, that you can get what you want if you help enough people get what they want. And getting what you want is going to require you to create value. Okay. So what we are here today is Value Thursday, and that is why we are doing what we are doing today. Without wasting any more time, the person that is going to be sharing his experience is someone, and of course, I can give an example from last week, the presentation we had. He was on a border, but he managed to tune in on a border, and he managed to tune in and listen in. I have been inspired by Ronald's resilience and commitment to make sure that he improves himself. If you can join a Google Meet or a Zoom call while you're on the border and you're listening, it shows your degree and level of commitment to the cause. Okay. So for everyone here, just identify with Ronnie's story and how it has been, and perhaps you can pick a few things or two wherever your growth journey might be. All right, Ronald, let me hear from you. You're welcome to the call. Good evening. Just let us know, how are you?
I'm okay, Stefan. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Good evening. How's the rain that side?
The rain, yeah, as you are seeing, this side is kind of cool, but good enough today. It hasn't rained as much. Maybe because I've been indoors most of the time, but I don't think it has rained as such.
Okay, splendid. All right. So, as I already informed you, this is an interactive session,
Mm,
and most of us have already said we are on a growth journey.
mm,
Personally, my journey to self improvement started in 2016, and everything started by just getting in the right community of people who were thinking more or better than I was thinking, and everything rolled from there. So
mm.
today we explore your journey, how it for you, and perhaps anyone on this call can pick a few things or two that maybe they can implement in their own personal lives. So,
Mm.
about your life, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What life looked like before you began this journey of self improvement?
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity. Allow me also say good evening to the people in Uganda, and good afternoon and good morning, wherever in the time zones that you are. So by name, I'm Ssentongo Ronnie, and I learned this after reading a book. I'm a sanguine in personality, and then I'm an accounts assistant by profession. I'm a firstborn of three people in my family, and right now I'm an entrepreneur. However, before I started working on this journey of personal improvement, I've been going through a series of different entrepreneurship fields and different courses that I've been trying to work upon to make sure that I be where I am right now. So, briefly, that is all about me.
All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. So, as of course we know, this journey is not for the weak, and
Mm,
growth very well know requires you to step out of your comfort zone.
mm,
There's the gift that you're looking for is in the work that you are avoiding. What are some of
mm.
the personal or professional challenges that you are facing at the time when you began this journey of self improvement?
All right, so thank you very much. First of all, some of the professional challenges that I faced because professional, I'm an accountant. And from school, I got somewhere I was working, but basically, the challenge that I cannot forget was all about the earnings. I got a shock and a kind of disappointment, basically, from what I was expecting. In my own point of view, when I was still in high school, I had it in mind that accountants are the ones who pay others. So I had it in mind that I was going to pay myself first, and I pay myself more. But reaching in the actual work, it was kind of the
So,
opposite. You had to pay yourself last, and earning money that was not sufficient. And in relation to what I was doing, it was one of the challenges. And then another challenge, because we talked about the professional side, it was part, basically the earnings, and the disappointments from the workplace. I thought being an accountant, I would earn some respect by reaching in the field because some people are my bosses, but education wise or academically, I was far better than them, but maybe financially or in age, they were far better than me. So the respect I expected to earn was a total disaster.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes to my personal life, before I embarked on this journey of carrying on with self development and personal growth, it was basically a lack of motivation to carry on. I was this kind of person who grew up in a humble background, a humble Christian background. Some people they prefer calling it humble, but myself I like to call it the way it is from a poor background. In that I was limited in exposure to the extent that I lacked the motivation. I knew that life was all about hustle hard, work so hard to get what you want. But in actual sense, the motivation was nowhere. I was just living, surviving in that case. And another challenge was I lacked mentors. It is yet that I've realized that for someone to develop, for someone to advance from one level to another, you need a mentor, you need someone who can guide you here and there. But during that session, I had no one to mentor me. I had no role model. In my field of being an accountant, if you could ask me, which accountant would you wish to be like, I would tell you no one, because I wasn't exposed as such. And I had what I call knowledge gap. There is
Mm,
someone you can ask, what do you want
mm,
to be? They tell you, I want to be this kind of person, but the knowledge gap, the how part is what I'm talking about. In actual sense, it was lacking.
mm,
And lastly, basically, was living a life of pleasing others. I've suffered the victim of
mm,
that, starting from school, and even in my career part, the professionalism part, living a life of pleasing others and abandoning my own, how can I
mm,
say, my own desires. to make sure that others are happy, others are being pleased, and that has costed me a lot. And previously it was costing me much, even far better than it has
Mm.
costed me to now.
Yeah, I suppose it's a consequence of our culture as it's being African. There's a attitude of people pleasing that most of the things we do, we are trying to make other people happy. We
Mm,
are, our parents expect us to perhaps do certain process,
mm,
maybe to satisfy their ego or maybe act in a certain type of way. So I completely understand. And of
yeah.
course, on the side of professionalism, on the side of accounting, I myself am an accountant by profession.
Mm,
But of course, picture as it is painted while you're still in school is different when you definitely come out. Maybe things have changed now over the years, but back then
mm,
it's like a perception that okay, you're
mm.
definitely going to be working in a space that is fruitful. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Ronald. In the time that you started this journey of personal development, self-improvement, was there a particular moment? If you to look at red letter moment is a specific moment or perhaps an experience that made you realize that you want to make change or changes in your life.
All right. So thank you very much. That moment was when I was straight from school, when I had just finished my examinations, because I got a chance that from school I got where to work, but I was working as I was a student, so it wasn't a new workplace. But the change in the payments is what showed me a red flag, basically. That maybe previously they were trying to entice me to make sure that now I'm in fully, and then they had to take on. Because previously I used to be paid on a daily basis since I was a student. By the time reached and they were like, we are supposed to be paying you on commission basis, paying you in relation to the work that you've done on that day, and that was how much I was paid. And remember, when you are paid commission, you have no control at times of what you can do. Sometimes, because of factors that you can't control, find yourself in
Yeah.
a position earning less than what you are supposed to earn. So I looked at myself and I figured out, and I was like, am I really supposed to be in this situation, or there is something I can do to become better, or there is something I can do to change this situation? And that was the genesis, that was the red flag that showed me that the journey that you've undertaken, it is something that perhaps you can change if you decide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, that's where my turning point was, to start embarking on how can I add value on myself to make sure maybe I can attract a higher payment. How can I work on my social skills to make sure that at least I can get better connections? How can
Mm.
I become that person?
Mm. And funny thing, that moment is not very obvious to very many people because the way you mention it, it calls for one to have self-evaluation, at the same time to own up that it is up to you to make those changes. No one is going to come and save you. Many people find themselves in the same situation as yourself, and they are waiting for like either a miracle and little to come from within. So I completely
Yeah, right.
understand. Yeah.
Mm.
So let's say, were there any specific values or goals that drove you in the early stages?
Yeah, basically, the first goal was desire to become better. I realized that in this world, to deserve better, you have yourself to become better.
Yeah.
Why am I telling you so? After graduating, because in the first place, I did a diploma in account.
Oh dear. Sorry about that. I think Ronald has just. Oh, he's back. Oh, you're back, Ronald. Go ahead. You can turn on your microphone. Ronald, your microphone is on.
All right, okay, now I'm back.
Yeah.
When I was trying to call and it was kind of disrupting my network. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ronald. You were saying something.
Yeah, so I was explaining. Kindly pardon for me the question because this person has tried to divert my mind.
The question was, and
Mm,
this is a mentioned that we are going into goal setting.
Mm,
The question was, were there
mm.
any specific values or goals that drove you in those early stages?
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. The first thing was the desire to become better. I realized that in this world, if at all I was to attract more incomes, because my primary motivating factor at that moment was the earning. And I realized for me to earn more, I had to become more. So that was the first goal that I was trying to work upon on my journey, starting to embark on this self-improvement category. And then another thing, I realized that I had no brand. I had nothing I would be recognized before. In actual sense, I thought with my little qualifications that I had, maybe the world would yearn for me. You know, they would say, yeah, this person has a first class and what. But I realized that in the world outside there, there is more beyond having a first class from school, and you have to work on yourself to make sure that you become better. And then another thing, I had a desire to lead. From school, I was a leader, but I realized that maybe it was a matter of default, and this time around, I had to work on myself to become a better leader. And to be a better leader, I realized, as the quote goes, there is one of the quotes that I like. It is, I think, from Jean Massey. Yeah, where this person says that you can't lead anyone further than you've ever gone yourself. So I came to realize if at all I'm to lead people somewhere, I myself had to go that direction. If I'm to lead people to self-improvement, I myself had to work on myself to make sure that I improve from the person I was previously.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very beautiful quote, Ronnie. There, you mentioned that if you're going to lead others, you can't lead them further than you've ever gone. Can you just
Yeah.
repeat that a bit?
It says basically you can't lead anyone further than you have ever gone yourself.
It's beautiful. It's
It's
beautiful. So
from
you have
you.
to
You can't lead
step back.
anyone further than you've ever gone yourself.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, of course, as we know, this journey, I already said, it's not for the weak. You have to take some bold steps, things that to help that force you to step out of your comfort zone. But of course, the
Mm,
negative emotions, and here I'm talking about the fears, don't seize away. You constantly have to stay with them. And of course, you are an
mm,
entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur, so I kind of identify with the whole emotional turmoil and roller coaster of it all. Did you face any
mm.
doubt fears as you were starting this journey, and how exactly did you deal with them?
Yeah, basically, I had some fears and doubts. Some of the fears that I had basically was, will I be able to make it? As I've told you, I had limited exposure starting from my background. I thought maybe my background coming from a poor, I don't like to call it humble. Allow me just talk the way it is. It
Fair
makes
enough.
me more like it forces me to aspire for the best. Coming from a poor background, I was like, will I be able to break those chains? Will I make a difference from what my mom and dad failed to do? So that fear was in me, and that self-doubt. And then another thing, I realized that it required, or it called for hard work. And I
Mm,
feared hard work, just like any other person. Things that
mm,
concern working hard, we usually prefer to look for shortcuts. But I realized to become the person I wanted to be, I had to put in some hard work, and I didn't see that in me as per that moment. And then later on, I doubted myself because from consultation, I came to realize that I had to read more. But
mm.
myself, I didn't love to read. And by the way, I'm not a good lover of reading. I just read because I want to know more and I want to improve. But
Yeah,
if it's passionately, it isn't in me as such, but I do it because I want to learn more. I want to improve. I want to become better. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I like what you just said there about the reading. Most people, no one is born natural to be able to do all the things and they are good at them. But it
Mm,
speaks a lot about a person's character when they
mm,
do when you don't feel like doing them, because you know what exactly it does for you. And of course, when you talked
mm.
about work, do you have a particular example, one that represents a hardest challenge that you encountered in the beginning? Do you have an example in the beginning as
Oh,
your life? Do you have an example of one of the hardest challenges that you faced at the time?
yeah. Basically, it was opposition from my family members and friends. My own dad didn't support me on my journey to self-improvement. Why? Because my self-improvement required me to quit what I had started and embark on something totally different. So to him,
yeah.
he felt so much disappointed. He was like, we cannot waste a lot of money. I told you I'm the firstborn at
Mm-hmm.
home. So
That's
they were
good.
like, we cannot waste, he called it wasting money. We cannot waste the little money that we had to invest in you. And then in the middle of the journey, you reach and you are saying you are not going to do what we paid our school fees for. It was
Yeah.
such a total disappointment.
Yeah.
So that challenged me because I had to disobey my father, something I wasn't grown as a Christian from childhood. I was told I have to respect my parents if I want my days to be longer in the world. So it
Mm.
was kind of challenging. And then on top of that, opposition from friends. I remember on my journey to self-improvement, I had a very beautiful girlfriend. But because, yeah, true. But because my personal development or my self-improvement required me to commit some more time for myself, I
Yeah.
reached an extent whereby I was committing less time for this person. And the
Yeah.
career that I had also embarked on, she wasn't so much pleased with it, becoming an entrepreneur. In her mind, she
Yeah.
was like, I better be the boyfriend. And I said, what is the nature of the work of your boyfriend? I better say my boyfriend is an accountant. But I cannot say my boyfriend is an entrepreneur. You are embarrassing me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I reached an extent of losing such people, losing that wonderful girlfriend. Maybe my dad, if there was a way of losing him, maybe I would have lost him. But I had to cut connection with him.
Yeah.
Another challenge was with mindset shifting. It was kind
Mm.
of challenging to shift my mind from the I failed, from a poor background, that negative mindset that I can't become as much as I want to be. It kind of challenged me, and it was a tug
Mm.
of war.
Mm.
Then I think
Yeah.
another challenge,
Mm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
lastly, it was limited finances. On the
Mm.
journey of personal development and self-improvement, it required me to invest in money, basically to acquire self-improvement materials, to acquire
Mm.
data, to make sure at least I attend some seminars like this one. Basically, it wasn't a Google Meet, but listening to videos and what that could add up value to me. It was
Yeah.
costly, but
Yeah.
yeah, had to maneuver.
Yeah. I would like to highlight one of the challenges that you've mentioned, but since you're a man, I'm interested in how exactly
Mm,
you it. Imagine you are the dad of
mm,
Ronnie.
mm,
Is you and is called Mark, and Mark comes to you, the father, the same way you came to your father. I'm
mm.
curious, know what you know now. How would you handle it?
All right, so basically, on what I know now, I would listen more to this person and their motive of undertaking the career that they wish to take on. Because we are living in a changing world
Mm,
and the world is evolving. The way things were done 20 years back is not the same way things are done right now. And
yeah,
perhaps the way things are going to be done in the coming 20 years may not be the same way we are doing things right now. So if
that's
at all
true.
I'm the dad to Mark and then Mark comes to me, I'll sit him down, listen to him from A to Z and make sure at least I'm noting some things. What is the motive of him doing this? Because my primary motive of living the career that my dad thought maybe it was best suitable for me, I realized that in the coming 5 to 10 years, I wouldn't be as much productive, as much of value as they expected because of the changing world. And
Yep,
I did
yep,
it not only for my case, but for the case of other people who are to come, my family to come, and my family at the moment. But it
yeah,
was kind of hard for him to understand because he was already locked up in the previous era or way of doing things.
yeah. Thank you very much for that. All right, so
Mm,
well, you mentioned something about losing the sacrifice that the toll that it has taken on you from losing. Of course, you mentioned her as a beautiful girlfriend. Uh,
mm,
disappointed parent. Of course,
mm,
it's very painful when your parent is disappointed in you. At the same
mm,
time, there's friends. There's this saying that oftentimes on this journey, as you're trying to improve yourself, you find yourself in a place where you no longer connect. friends that you had before, but at the
mm,
same don't get fully there to fit into the group of people that you want to get in. So, what kept you motivated after all this? I can only imagine as a man being in love with a woman, and you choose that woman
mm.
because you see the vision. You know,
I
how did you
understand.
do all of this and kept going?
All right. So basically, I opened up to motivational videos. There is a YouTube channel. It's called Motivasti.
Mm,
So I had to subscribe to that, and it usually provided me some videos with a gentleman called Lionel Scott. So his voice tone itself is talking like these wrestlers, that voice
yeah.
note that's so powerful, that's so energetic. You can make it. For everything you want, you have to sacrifice. So I
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying the session with Ronald. He has just jumped on. He's back on. So, all right,
right,
Ronnie,
Samba.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I started relating my scenario and my story to the videos that this gentleman was talking about, and I realized that yeah, I'm going through the transformation process. What every winner is going through, what every champion is going through. The gentleman is talking about you have to sacrifice some people, you have to leave the toxic environment. Leave people who don't think the way you think. Look for people who think that such things.
Yeah.
So I made sure that in my free time, however much I had disconnected myself to my old friends, now I got a new online friend who was called Motivasti, and a
Mm,
community that was kinda like-minded.
mm.
And then another thing, as a believer, I can't deny I was praying.
Mm.
Yeah, I was praying, and I was like, on this new journey, however much I'm not so certain of where it's going to lead me, but at
Mm.
least may God's will be done in my life, because I knew that what I was going through, it wasn't something that everyone would wish to go through, but it was necessary for the life I wanted to achieve.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then
Yeah, yeah,
another thing was, mm,
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
was studying successful behaviors. I had to make research about some people who are successful in different fields, and realizing what is there behind the scene. What are their stories? How did they reach where they are? Which kind of battles did they have to go through? And I started relating to some of them, and I was like, oh, even this gentleman was rejected. Hey, even Schwarzenegger was rejected multiple times for him to become this person that we admire. And I said, maybe it is a matter of time, but with time, these people
Mm.
who have rejected me now, maybe they would come back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely understand. Of course, change is extremely uncomfortable, and for everyone that is listening here today, and perhaps you are at that
Mm,
point where you're fearing maybe the things that you will lose as a result of becoming someone else. You can look
mm,
a typical example. You can look at the life cycle of a butterfly. It has to literally kill a part of itself to go into a new part from larva to the pupa stage and then all the way
mm,
to life. So it's really the way the law of the land requires
mm,
discomfort. But Ronald,
mm,
another thing that I want to talk about, the challenges are always present. And
mm.
you're listening to these motivational speakers, but these people are not your you know, you are
Yeah,
feeling
right.
feeling the fire day in, day out. Can you share
Mm.
with us the moment you felt like giving up and what helped you?
All right, so thank you very much. So there was a moment, motivational speakers can motivate you, but they may not change what's going on around you. I remember
Yeah,
there was a moment I lost my home. I became homeless in that situation, in the transition stage. Remember, I had quit my workplace. My workplace, they were giving me a house, they were facilitating my rent, and I was telling them I'm leaving, so I had to lose that facilitation. So I reached an extent I had no home, kind of homeless. I had left my job. I was very hungry with no money, and I think the only asset I had was my phone by that moment, basically, and I didn't even have data. So there are these how do they call them? There are these VPNs that people use to access free data, and
Yes, yes.
basically that's all that I had. So I reached an extent and I felt like I had nothing. No one was with me. My parents not with me. My girlfriend not with me. I have no friend to comfort me. Then by that moment, I was just left with God and my phone,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that is the moment I felt like quitting, and I was like, should I go back and I apologize to my bosses? I tell them I'm so sorry because of the stupidity I exhibited. What can I do now?
Yeah. I like that. And of course, you said something that it's simple when someone hears it, but for anyone on the call, just remember it. He said he had a phone, imagine a smartphone, and God. So, so if you have a smartphone and God, maybe that is the starting point. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
true.
yeah. So of course, this journey, you had yourself by yourself. Of course, your dad is not approving of this whole thing, and your girlfriend, of course. I mean, the person closest to you who might listen to maybe what you're going through. The closest friends are, of course, not there anymore. You are by yourself. Of course, when you are by yourself, you have all these voices, this internal dialogue going back and forth. Through maybe at the time and even up to now, because life is always cyclical. There are always things happening. There are always lows and highs. But through this
Mm,
journey, what have you discovered about yourself that me as Ronnie know about
mm.
myself?
Right. So allow me start with a recent discovery about myself.
Go ahead.
I've just come to conclude that I'm a sanguine. That one I didn't know it about myself, but in this the path of self-discovery, I came to realize that. And basically from here, I want to give an accolade to BORAWATU for that,
Mhm.
because it was through the other book that you guys shared with me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did that evaluation test, and yeah, I concluded that I'm a sanguine. You get? So that.
What can you
And
tell
then
us?
another thing, I concluded that I love to be. Someone is calling. Don't know whether my network won't be interrupted. You kindly let me know. Stefan, is my network okay?
You're still on. You're still on. I had asked a
Someone
question.
is calling.
I had asked a
Mm,
question. Your discovery being a sanguine. For those who
mm.
don't know what a sanguine is, and it's the first time they're hearing that word, how would you describe in simpler English what a sanguine is?
All right. Oh, someone is calling, but I'm trying to decline the call. All right. So when I talk about a sanguine in simple terms, I'm talking about people who are free. You get to the world. People who want to have fun. People who want to explore. People want to have friends like that. People are friendly. People who have some extent of being bold to a given extent.
Awesome,
So
awesome,
if I'm
awesome.
to talk about it, maybe I may take long, but
Yeah, it's okay.
basically on this test, that's where I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what else did you discover about yourself?
I also realized that I love to be recognized. I love recognitions.
Typical sign.
The moment as I get recognized as someone maybe who persisted, as others quit, I feel so happy. The moment
Yeah.
I get recognized as someone who is doing things in a different manner, it makes me happy. And I also love seeing other people's lives getting better. All right, so
Mm,
allow me just change the position a bit. I have to connect to the charger just
it's
a
okay.
bit.
It's okay. All right.
So I'm going to get.
Thank you very much. As Ronald shifts to a position of, I think we want to charge. I hope you have the messages in that anything that you learned from his experience. And for those that haven't done the personality test, we posted a little bit of books and links that you can participate to understand a little bit about yourself. Why do you do the things that you do? And if you'll be still interested in that, share that information again. Maybe in the for those who are in the WhatsApp community, we'll be able to share that. Yes, Ronald, you can go ahead.
Yes, I'm back. All right. So another thing I realized about myself, I love seeing other people's lives getting better. Basically,
Mhm.
with my advice, with my motivation, and yeah. with my advice, basically, I love seeing other people's lives getting better. I feel so happy when someone says, it's because of you that I didn't give up. You offered me hope when I was hopeless. Like that one, I didn't know about it. And that I think I feel like I'm an inspirer to some people. And then
Mm-hmm.
another thing, I feel like I'm a good mobilizer.
Yeah,
That one I
yeah.
didn't know about myself, but from the experience, I've come to realize that, yeah, when it comes to mobilizing people, mobilizing funds, I think I'm good.
Mm. All right,
Mm.
that's very good, Ronald. But we might dive into. You mentioned something earlier about keeping a straight mindset on things. If how would you say you approach life right now as a result of this whole experience? How would you say your approach to life is, like your approach to relationships and work generally, given that you have gone all through this? And of course, you mentioned that the mindset was a challenge in previously, but now I imagine you're in a stage or stages where you look at life a little bit different. How is your approach to life, relationships, and work?
All right. So, first of all, when it comes to relationships, I no longer take relationships for granted. Like, I no longer prejudge.
Mm,
Previously, there are some people I would look at and I would say, what is this person having to offer to me? Get like prejudging people, prejudging situations. So that one changed after that mindset shift. And then another thing, basically, I was all about having a positive mindset almost every day, feeling that, yeah, from the experiences that a day can come just like any other day and it becomes far better than the previous day. So my hopes of change have grown. Previously, I would think a bad day is a bad life. But right now, in case I get a bad day, I know that, yeah, today can be bad, but tomorrow can be better or tomorrow can be good, because there are some days that would come and you have totally no hope, but out of the blue, there's something you did like some 3 days back and it brings you results that can cover you up. So my positivity and hope of life are now elevated, far better
mm.
than previously.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. You mentioned something there that a bad day does not mean a good life. There's a quote, I think, in which book was it? I've forgotten the book, but they mentioned that a moment in your life is not equal to your life. It's simply a moment in your life. It does not
Mm,
mean the rest of. So, and
mm,
the human brain, the way we have studied things, is very easy to attach, like you said, of course, a very bad day and you assume that yet it is simply just that. I like that. The other thing maybe we might shift into, I think you might be familiar with the terminology lived, the version of the life that you want to get as a result of everything that you're doing right now. What
mm.
does well lived mean to you now, and how has it changed over time?
All right, so thank you very much. So you've talked about a life well lived, is it?
Yes.
So right now, in my point of view, a life well lived is a life where being able to impact so many lives, and like having accumulated stories of people saying, if it wasn't Mr. Ronnie, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I feel like if at all I reach that extent where I have so many people who can say that, I feel like, yeah, my life is really worth it. It's the life that it is well lived. If I can have such people who say, if it wasn't that gentleman, I wouldn't have such and such. If it wasn't that gentleman, I wouldn't have been this person. I wouldn't have reached there. I wouldn't have known this. So
Mm,
that is
mm,
the life well lived. And the
mm,
change that has been there previously in my own understanding, I thought a life well lived is a life where you've accumulated a lot of money, you have a lot of cars, you have beautiful mansions. Yeah, I thought that is the life well lived. If you be that person, you die, yeah, you would say, yeah, I've lived a well life. But right now, it has changed.
mm, mm.
Mm.
I like that. How have you balanced your personal and professional goals as you have worked towards your vision currently? What's the balance
Right.
like? For those
mm,
who don't know yet, Ronnie's work and life. He's someone who is a spiritual leader. He's a sales team leader. He's
mm,
a musician, an entrepreneur at the
mm,
same time. So it
mm,
seems simple, but there's quite a number of things to juggle. And of course, you have your accounting background to contend with.
mm,
How to balance the personal. Remember, last time we lost a girlfriend, so maybe also. So how are you
uh,
keeping and the
mm.
professional goals working together, towards the vision that you have currently?
Right. So thank you very much. Basically, how I balance my personal life with a career, I accord a weekend for my personal life. Me starting from Friday at 6 p.m. Friday from that time to Saturday, Sunday, they am off business. You get? Like I do
Mhm.
things that are of my own benefit. That's why I do my music because I sing. I have a choir I serve in, and if you find me there, I'm a kind of different person from the person who you always see in the middle of the week in suits and
Would
attending
like
different conferences. So weekend is my time, my personal time. If you need me for business matters, unless or otherwise, but for that time, I even tell my people that that time I'm off. And then Monday to Friday, I'm a workaholic. I
mm,
leave office late. I report a bit early because there it is my time to work. If you need me now for church service, it's a Monday. Maybe unfortunate, I'm not available. So I try to accord my time in that way. Then last
mm,
time we lost a girlfriend, that is true. So
mm.
this time round, we are working on our souls better. I believe that other better girlfriend would come as I'm chasing the dream.
That's very good. That's very good. And this might feed into the next question of alignment. I
Mm,
understand this journey, we do things even when we don't feel like doing them. I personally
mm,
am not this person as well in text. I really force myself to read because I know the information is in there. But
mm,
doing that, they might, like said, you studied the habits of successful people. And some of these
mm,
successful people, when you see some of the things they do, it's very easy to read the book 5 a.m. Club, but not everyone's body is designed to wake up at 5 a.m. And some of these habits are really, really hardcore. So, on the subject of alignment,
mm.
where you are currently as Ronnie, and some of these success habits that you're trying to adapt, what are some of the ways that you keep yourself aligned with your authentic self, where you don't feel like you're pretending to do things or you're going out of your element on this journey? How do you keep yourself aligned with your authentic self?
All right, so thank you very much. First of all, I be in competition with myself. Like every day, I try as much as I can to perform better than what I performed previously. And I do some evaluations, probably at the end of the week, to know how have I performed this week. And that comes with making records. Like when it comes to my business part, most especially my business part, I keep records. How have I performed today? If I'm a salesman, so the more presentations I make, the more I consider myself having worked. The more people I talk to, the more doors I knock to. So I have to sit down and say, how many doors have I knocked to today? How many people have known about what I do today? So I try to do that to make sure that, yeah, it keeps me in the momentum. If I sit down, I look at it and I'm like, no, Ronnie, this month you've not performed well. Why was it? If I look at my revenues are not okay, I go back. What of the activities side? If I realize that activities have been so redundant, then I work on
Mm,
improving myself.
mm.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone who is very intentional with what they are doing, because you, of course,
Mhm.
document, you document your progress, you track your activity, and of course, as we
Mhm.
know, what gets tracked can be measured. So
Yeah,
I think I really like that a lot. Keeps you grounded in who you're trying to be and what you're doing, because
mm,
there's this temptation of desiring a certain type of life, but then
mm,
your actions don't correlate with the life that you want. Like you mentioned earlier, that there are certain success habits that you had to adopt, and of course
mm,
you have to that on those, such that they align with the self that you're trying to build moving forward. All
Mm,
right, so Ronald, we are coming to the last 15 minutes of this, and there's a lot that can be said. It has been a beautiful experience going through your journey and how it has been
mm,
for you. Of course, there
mm,
are people that are on the call. I believe some of your friends are here. Some of the people that are part of the BORAWATU community are here as well. So they
mm,
are different stages of their life on this path of self-discovery.
mm.
Key pieces of advice that they can take away, what would those be?
All right, so thank you very much. So some of the advice I can give to the people here. The first one is reading books. As I've told you, naturally, or in me, I'm not a good reader. I don't love reading. But starting from the person I got to mentor me in the new career that I decided to embark on, he told me, Ronnie, if you want to become better, you read. Do you know why? Because a lot of information is put down in the books. Anything that challenges you, now I'm talking to the person on this call, anything challenges you, has ever challenged someone, they worked it out, they got a solution, and they got all that experience and knowledge. They put it in the book. But if you don't read that book, there is no way and absolutely no way you may get to know that information. You get.
Yeah,
So I try my level best to read books, and even where I am right now, I'm surrounded by books. There is Who Took My Money, Thinking and Grow Rich, How to Lead Smart People, Change Your Life Forever, Think and Grow Rich, Think Big. So I try to surround myself in that environment to make sure that at least I read, I know more, something that can keep me going. And then
yeah,
another thing, appreciate who you are. And that is called gratitude. We live in the world whereby so many people they are like, how I wish I was like Mr. Ronnie, how I wish I was like Mr. Stefan. You know how I wish I was like Sheila. You take less time to appreciate yourself. You take your time to be grateful for yourself. There is this one quote I realized, and I move with it. Most of my friends in my circle they know. I tell them, as you are busy doubting yourself, someone is busy admiring your strength. You may be there busy saying, I'm not performing, I'm a failure. But someone out there is like, how I wish I was like that person. You get. So I realized that you need to appreciate yourself and accept who you are and realize that for your life to change, it's absolutely and 100% your responsibility. Friends, no one is coming to take you through that phase that you are in. It is your responsibility. If you get someone who can hold your hand through the journey, be appreciative. But this entitlement mindset, that is very common in Africa, probably in Uganda here, where we are entitled. This person has not helped me. I've realized
yeah,
that even some people they get mad when they don't give them loans. I want a short loan from you, and you are like, I don't have money. Someone is like, how can he not give me money yet he has money? Entitlement mindset. If we can
yeah,
forego that and we say, my life is my responsibility. If people help me, well and good. If they don't help me, well and good. Another thing, have hope and faith. There are two things that keep me going every now and then. The first thing is hope. Hope is that belief that tomorrow can become better. If I do better now, tomorrow may be my better day. Tomorrow may be my breakthrough day. Even in periods where I felt like giving up, I was like, but what if my breakthrough is tomorrow and I give up today? So because of only that word, I keep on moving. Hope and faith. Then when it comes to faith, I put it on the spiritual matter. As a Christian, I believe that God can change things even when they are not in your favor. I think, Stefan, it was you who shared the pic last time, kind of related to that God can change things even when the odds are not in your favor, kind of such. So
yeah,
I'm a strong believer in that God can make things work out for you. But with hope, you need to do something. Don't be there hoping that things are going to change if you don't do something. I'm telling you, by that time, as I've told you, when I was struggling with life, when things were not working out, I had a lot of needs, and what I was doing was to do my activities aggressively. I was doing the field, but I was working. With that KVPN, I could come online, explain to people about what I have to offer to them. Some picked interest in the late, and then others were like, The other time you told me about this, I've got the money, let me send to you. And that is how I got through that depression, slowly but slowly. Another, there are two things, by the way, that I want to end with. Listen and learn from people who are where you want to be. Don't ever listen to people who are advising you contrary to what you want to get, like when they are not even in that category. It's like I read this from a book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. There was a
Yeah.
gentleman. The gentleman wanted to buy jewel, but when he was entrusting someone who is going to buy, he got someone who is dealing in a totally different field. Someone who is a porter. Okay? Yeah, finalizing something. All right, so he got a porter to go and buy for him jewel the other side. The other guy made a loss. So if you want to be successful in anything, regardless of your field, consult people who are successful in that field. Lastly, like work on your environment. Environment is key, it's core. Some of the people, by the way, allow me to appreciate this gentleman. I don't know whether he's here, Mr. Hassan. I met Mr. Hassan in Owino Market in the circle where I used to work before I quit. By the way, he knows me better from that circle. So this gentleman is working in a market, but the way he's reasoning, the way he's thinking is a totally different person depending on the environment. So I befriended him, we became friends, and he always feeds me with materials, with books. I have very many, like 50 of them in my phone here. If I don't have a hard copy, at least I would say I want to read Surrounded by Idiots. Hassan has ever sent me that book. So your environment has a very big impact on your success. Remember, there is a quote that says you become an average of the 5 people you hang around with. So if you want to be wise, hang around people who are wise. If you want to be a failure, look for failures, hang around them. I'm assuring you, even a blink of an eye is big, you fail miserably. So that's what I can advise.
Yeah, thank you very much. Closing the year very soon, and of course, many of us are in a state of
Mm,
elation, a state of finally this year is done. We are going into the new year. There's a
mm,
little bit of excitement, there's a little bit of hope, and for some, perhaps they feel they haven't done what they needed to do this year. And of course, we talked about this some time back that the turn of a new year tends to give people hope that maybe the next year might be a little bit different. And there's this world mindset that simply once you move from one year to another year, then there's some kind of magical change for some reason. And yet, personally, I look at it the same way a new day would start, or a day would stop, and another day would start. So, if
mm.
we look at pretty much everything that we achieved right now, let's just throw in a little bit of excitement. What are some of the goals and aspirations that you personally, as Ronnie, you're excited about as you continue on this journey as you're going into 2025? What are some of those things that you're excited about?
Wow. I feel like I can't wait seeing myself standing on a very wonderful stage as a salesman coach or as a sales coach, explaining to people how best they can do well in sales, and looking at myself as a motivational speaker one day, standing in a very big congregation, it excites me. I feel like that's what I want to get. And then being this personal development coach, the way, a gentleman called Vusi from South Africa.
Yeah, visit and be
So
quiet.
whenever I look at such people, I feel like, yeah, if I achieve that, my God, it's something I want to get. And
Yeah.
then becoming a wealth entrepreneur and a real estate investor, that's a goal that excites me. And I'm like, wow, if I be there, we'll be well.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Ronnie. I can't thank you enough. This has been quite an experience. Very exciting things, and I like your composure, your story. It definitely one that many of us really relate with. The story of losing people and losing trust in certain people and being alone by yourself, and how you have fortunate enough that we have made acquaintances through this community, Borawatu, and I encourage you to continue sharing your wisdom as much as possible. There are people on this call that maybe this is the thing that they were waiting for to hear from you. Maybe your story, there's something maybe they are facing, and perhaps tonight your story has enlightened them, maybe how they can overcome that. I can't thank you enough. And of course, as we are aspiring here, it's fish and any resource that you might need to help you in this journey to achieve those goals and aspirations. Boost It and Bekwayo, it's quite an exciting goal for many people, being one of the top coaches and speakers in Africa. It's quite something. Can't wait to celebrate when you get on that stage. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 minutes to. If you have, if we won't take any questions because of the time, but we will pass on communication again, mentors and mentees. And one of the mentees, of course, and mentors in this case, we are looking at Ronnie here. Everyone has something to share because everyone has a unique experience. Okay, so coming this Saturday, this very Saturday, we have goal setting and vision board creation exercise. If you have never had the excitement that Ronnie has right now, for type of exercise that you need to do going into the new year when you know exactly what you want to do is quite an experience. And the world that we live in right now, it is so easy to be good or great because most people are not even trying at all. The goal exercise is going to be happening this Saturday. It's only 30,000 Uganda shillings. If you have ever done a goal setting exercise, you know it costs maybe 200, 250 plus. 30,000, we shall post a communication again in the group. For the pin message, you can still put the pin message and then register via the form. Otherwise, I would thank everyone. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, everyone for the call. It's always nice to have you. And again, every Thursday, this is free of charge. We are going to be iterating and changing the way we conduct these trainings, or maybe one of the sessions that we have had where we spotlight one of the people that are on the journey of personal development. I can't thank you enough, and I wish you the very best in your careers, in your goals, and in your aspirations. Good evening, good night, or good morning. You are not currently here in Uganda. All right.